Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Unit Lost, and more importantly, welcome to HOTFIX. Mr. Kirioth, he's got a tale today, ladies and gentlemen. A canine-related tale of something most disgusting which happened to him today. And
so
it's sickening,
today,
ladies and gentlemen. If you are squeamish, please turn away, ladies and gentlemen.
Close your eyes, close your ears.
Yes.
There will be no dog cam today. The dog cam's
dear.
become a bit of tradition on HOTFIX. You know, at the end, at the beginning, show a bit of the dog, usually over there on the sofa. Not today.
I wonder why.
We went for a walk. There's a nice big area of common land near us where all cows and horses are allowed on. There weren't any there today, but the dog, off the lead, running in front of me, having a nice time, found some horse manure, sir. And she thought it was quite the thing. So she fucking rubbed herself all over it and covered herself in a massive load of horse shit.
Oh dear.
To the point where her harness and her collar were covered in shit, which meant putting the lead back on, the lead got covered in shit.
No.
Partway home, she decided she didn't want to be covered in shit anymore, so she shook as they do when they're wet. So I ended up covered in shit.
Oh, did it go in your eyes?
When we got, it did not go in my eyes. Fortunately, it was all over the leg. It was walking trousers, so it was fine.
Oh no!
So I got back and I tied her to the table in the garden and fucking hosed her down. And then I realised that the hose was spitting out freezing cold water, which would explain why she kept trying to run away from it. So now she's downstairs, semi-clean, in her crate, awaiting to be taken to my wife's work, so she could be put in the dog washer.
An industrial dog washer. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, HOTFIX. Let's get down to the deal of HOTFIX, Mr. Kirioth. Now, this is all about this EA Access program, which I believe is exclusive to Xbox One. So, Mr. Kirioth, if you would like to slam us with the information, I would be most grateful.
Well, I have here the article from Eurogamer. There was one from IGN, but I'm not quoting that. So, Eurogamer.
Hang on, what happens if IGN paid you, bloke? 10 grand. 10 grand, bloke.
Fuck off. Just stick it where the sun don't shine. So Eurogamer says EA Access gives players access to AAA games for $5 a month. EA has announced a new service for Xbox One, it's Xbox One exclusive, that will give subscribers access to multiple AAA games for $4.99, or about £3 a month, or $29.99 in dollars, and about 18 quid a year. Dubbed EA Access, this service is being rolled out today in a beta for a limited number of players. The beta will grant subscribers unlimited access to FIFA 14, Madden NFL 25, Peggle 2, Battlefield 4, with more titles to come. Additionally, EA Access members will receive 10% off most EA games and DLC downloaded on Xbox One. Another benefit to the service is that its members will be able to play trials of upcoming games up to 5 days prior to their launch. So far, the list of games this will entail includes Madden, NFL 15, NHL 15, FIFA 15, NBA Live 15.
Hang on.
Jesus Christ.
Madden 15? Yeah, Madden 25. I don't even know what's going on.
I don't know what any of those games are. And Dragon Age Inquisition. Your progress from these trials will carry over into the full game upon release. EA Access memberships will be available over Xbox Live or at retail via Amazon, GameStop, and EB Games.
Okay, so well, I would admit, hands down, EA are like the last company on earth I would have thought would have done something like this. Then I started to think about it, Mr. Kirioth, and then I started to think, well, actually, it's kind of clever, because let's look at what goes on. Okay, so let's look at PlayStation Plus, right, which is a similar system to this, albeit a vastly superior system to this. I mean, hell, have I got my PlayStation turned on? I bet I have.
Well, for a start, it doesn't just cover EA games, so that's already
you probably just heard like a ridiculous noise there, ladies and gentlemen. Just don't worry, it's just me turning the thing on, whereas I can play the PlayStation. But I'm pretty sure there is like come on PlayStation Store. Now, if I was a pro YouTuber, I would actually show you this, but I'm not that pro, so we can't do that. So actually, I could look at the thing. I think. Hang on, one second. It'll all be worth it.
Well,
it'll be worth it.
I'll just jump in quickly as well. I'm completely with you. I don't think it's a.
No, it's not working. I think the PSN's down. I don't know what's going on.
Oh no.
Anyway, shut up, Mr. Kirioth. It's my point. It's my point, son. So
get on with it.
I know it was a rather convoluted effort there. Like you said, it's all the different publishers, right, on PSN. So you get a load of like there are literally loads of games, yeah, at PS Plus even. it's worth it all day long if you're fine playing games 9-10 months after release. Yeah, if you want to play games straight away, it's not really that good. However, it's still okay, PS Plus, because it will give you games that yeah, maybe you wasn't going to buy, but for the price of it, it's so cheap, you may as well have it anyway. I've got it, you know, and you know, there was things like one of the Uncharted games I played, you know, because I mean, for me, it's actually pretty good because I've got a PS Vita, I've got a bloody PlayStation 3 and a PS4, so I've got all of their shit, so I get all of their games. It's pretty good. Disgusting. But on the Vita, I've actually played quite a few games, which I've just Soul Sacrifice. Remember that you played that? Remember the book where you took his eye?
That was quite good.
Look at that. Yeah. It's all crazy. Well, that you know, I would never have played without PS Plus, so that's great. This system though is probably what we're going to see more of, especially because EA have done it, because they're like the biggest publisher. So you know, you're going to see Activision doing this and all that shit most likely. Right now, at face value, for the price, this is a great deal.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
like right now.
You could kind of argue that it's like, well, who's gonna play Battlefield 4 now? But actually, if you're getting Battlefield 4 for free and you haven't bought it already, you wouldn't buy it now. I don't think anyone would buy Battlefield 4 because that game is kind of it's old now, effectively, isn't it? I mean, those games go out of date really quickly because they're so
which is the same thing
quick
with
onto
all of these games.
To the next one.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's a good incentive. The free games is a good incentive to do it, but genuinely, I think it's actually a good deal regardless of the free games because 10% off most new games. If you pay 18 quid for the year,
yeah, that's not bad.
And you buy say you buy 10 games during the course of the year. I know that's quite a few games. Not everyone is going to be buying that many games, but 10% off each one of those, you're going to save more than if you hadn't spent the 30 quid on the 18 quid on the year-long pass for it. And on top of that, you have got access to these multiple American sport games like NBA and NHL and NFL and all those, whatever they are.
Like, what is that? Like an advanced demo access? Is that what that is? Like a little trial you can get?
Yeah, I mean, 5 days, up to 5 days prior to the launch, you'll be able to play. I mean, Dragon Age Inquisition, being able to play that 5 days before release, genuinely, that's something I'll go for.
And especially for us, people being in the YouTube circles, 5 days prior to launch is extremely valuable. You know, but obviously with it being Xbox One only is a little bit strange. I mean, there must be some.
Yeah, I
think it must be because of PS Plus. You know, it's got to be. It has to be because it's like direct competition, and why would they want that?
The thing is, though, as far as I know, Xbox Live Gold introduced a similar system to PS Plus sometime last year.
It's nowhere near as good, though, is it? Is it only like 1 or 2 games? But PS Plus is like shitloads of games.
But they're ramping it up. It started out kind of poor, but from what I understand, they're ramping it up. So I would expect Xbox Live Gold to be sort of as good as PS Plus eventually. If they keep improving it, which they should, you know, to make it more, I guess, valuable to people. But
yeah. Well, I mean, no, actually, this is saying at the moment you can get Max the Curse of the Brotherhood. I don't know what that is. You can get Guacamole. I know what that is. That's been on PS Plus. Again, a game I've played just because of PS Plus on the Vita. And Battle Block Theatre. So there's 3 games you do get. That, so it's not maybe as bad as I thought, but it's still not as good as PS Plus. But I think
it's still not as good as PS Plus. But
I think you could easily see. I think you could easily see Microsoft going down the route of all these individual publisher ones instead of having just one big PS Plus thing, because I think that's probably worth more to them, you know, than it is to the gamer possibly.
At the same time, even though I've got PS Plus, I would still probably go for this if it was on PS4.
Well,
genuinely, I think I would, because it's still quite a good deal. I mean, there's
it is
10% thing by itself is worth doing. So,
well, I mean, like I said it was a good deal, didn't I? Like about 5 minutes ago, and I think it is a good deal. But what you've got to remember is things like Madden 25 and FIFA 14 and even Battlefield 4, especially the sports games, they are in the transitional phase now where those seasons have finished. The new seasons haven't started. They don't start until September. So there's this month, you know, or 2 month period where these games are still relevant, and these are the games that are still being played. Everybody is still playing FIFA if they are FIFA 14, if they're FIFA fans. But in 2 months' time, they're going to have FIFA 15. They're not going to want to play FIFA 14. So you're not going to get FIFA 15 on this until this time next year. And then again, so it's like, it's good in theory.
Having 10% off the new one might push you into buying it.
Yeah, but is this download only? Because the download prices are horrendously inflated. I mean, on my PlayStation, there's games for £64.99. I cannot believe that.
You know what? I can't actually see here whether it is for download only.
And I'm guessing if the PlayStation prices are that bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, the PlayStation store is just like, it's just horrendous. Some of the...
Yeah, it's terrible.
I've been through that and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, games that are on PC for 30 quid, like 55 quid on the PS3. It's just mental.
Yeah, it's almost like they're heavily, like, making you pay a premium just for the fact that you can download them, which is totally ridiculous. But
well, you know, I can't
you know what
see
you can
anything
do?
that specifically says that it's just for downloads, but honestly, I'd be very surprised if it did apply to box copies as well, because...
How would that work, though? I mean,
here's
a little
how
voucher.
How do you apply that?
Yeah.
Unless you got the camera and you scan the barcode in from your new purchase and it gives you 10% back or something. I don't even know how that works. So, I'd imagine it is pretty much just down to downloadable titles.
Yeah, it probably is.
But then, given how much everything's moving towards that anyway, I don't know if that's necessarily such a shock or such a bad thing, because I've got more stuff downloaded on my PlayStation 3 than I have, in actual hard copy.
Oh, actually, thinking of that, the PS Plus gives you you get cheap games, like you get discounted games, don't you, as well with PS Plus? Because I remember I bought Ni no Kuni, which maybe I should stream at some point, because I'm sure people would like to see me play that. But that was cheap. That was like really cheap. I think I only paid £5 for it or something. I was like, holy hell!
Yeah,
it was like a massive, and that was because it was PS Plus. Yeah, so it's. I think. I don't know. What I just don't get though is, like, I did not honestly believe this would be from EA, like, because this is while it's good, like I said, while it is good now. Like, I mean, Battlefield, like the best game I see at the moment is the fact you get Battlefield in the vault, Battlefield 4. But of course, they want you to buy all the Battlefield DLC as well. They want you to buy the fucking Dragon Premium shit and whatever the hell they're up to now. But even just the base game, you probably would still have a good time on Battlefield 4, right? If you're a fan of that type of thing. For the price, I'm saying for the price. The sports games, like I said, are relevant for a few months and then they're just going to be junk. But the stupid thing with the sports games is they're the same game every year. They're just different names. But to sports fans, it's really annoying because...
Even the cover art's exactly the bloody same.
The
cover art between FIFA 14 and 13, I think someone did a comparison of. They just changed the guy in the front.
It's probably the same guy. Difference. No, I think Messi's been on the front for about the last 10 years or something. I don't know. but I think it's the Madden one you're on about. The Madden one, I think, changes every year. They have a different guy. One? Yeah, but FIFA's always Messi because he's like the best player in the world. But they... like the sports games, if you support a team, okay, let's say you support Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, whatever, Real Madrid, who knows, they buy a lot of players every year, so they change drastically. Like 4 or 5 major players will change. It's not the same. So if you a sports fan cannot play FIFA 14 when FIFA 15's out, because it will say Fabregas is playing for Barcelona when he's not. He's playing for Arsenal now. It is annoying as shit. It's like, no, he doesn't play for them no more. And that's why they pay. But it is essentially the same game with like a few tweaks they put through it. Like maybe a little bit of a change, but it's not much. But
or hilarious physics engines that lead to
which will still be in this.
Footballers.
I doubt they've even changed it. I doubt they've even changed it. I bet you it's the same.
At first, I was kind of like, I was thinking, oh, EA are doing this? That's a bit... Why would EA do this? It's almost too good to be an EA thing. But actually, it does make perfect sense, really. How else are you going to shift Battlefield 4 for a start?
Exactly.
The time for getting into that game has long gone. It is well away. Stuff like Peggle 2. Like, if you've never played Peggle, apparently everyone's played it. I've never played it. Everyone's excited for Peggle 2. I was like, I don't know.
I think you could play Peggle in WoW, you know. I think that's where I played the first one. There was like a command /Peggle or something. And the game would pop up. But maybe it was a mod, I don't know, but there was something I did.
That's something that, I mean, personally, I'm never going to buy that because it's like it's fucking. I don't understand it. But if it's free, you download it.
I think it's meant to be quite good.
For the PlayStation that's free because it's free and it's shifting these kind of it's shifting these old games and they're not actually shifting them for free, are they? Because they're getting a subscription out of you.
Yes, exactly.
They're still getting some money. There's there's absolutely no work that has to be done on their end. These games have been out for God knows how long. They've already got an established player base. This is just extra people trying it. And because these extra people are going, oh man, this 18 quid a year, that's got me like 2-3 games already. Then the next Battlefield comes out, the next Peggle comes out, Dragon Age comes out. They see they've got 10% off because they've got the subscriber thing. Like, oh, 10% off, that's pretty good, I'll get that. it's actually pretty damn smart by EA because it looks like a really good deal, and in fairness, I think it is quite a good deal. But all it is basically an incentive to keep buying EA products.
I'm going to go.
You've got the
allow me to go off on a tangent, Mr. Kirioth. This is wild, right? Because there's another thing like this, which is it's really clever, like business strategy of making use of something you've already got or you already offer, but making it appear as if it's more desirable to have now. Like Kiri said, obviously this is good because it's all games at the net. It's gonna be impossible to sell these games, especially the sports games when the new games come out in a few months' time. I know what it's like. You could go into Game or whatever in this country, in England, and you could buy them for like £5 the game. You know, nothing, because nobody wants them. They're too old. Nobody's going to be playing them online or any of that shit because they'll move on to the new one. There is a bank in this country called Halifax, okay? And now they got me thinking, right? Because I'm a sado like this and I do think about this kind of crazy shit. There's an advert on the telly and it says, "Hello, switch your current account to Halifax, we'll give you £100. Thought there must be a catch to this. So I had a look. Well, initially, I was on Martin Lewis's money website. You know that guy? People in the UK will know this guy. He's like some money financial guru guy. He, on his website, it says... before, you used to have a certain amount of money coming in and out of your account. So they obviously wanted accounts that were active, yeah? Now you don't. It can be any account. So you can literally have an account with Halifax and get £100 put into your bank account right away, even if there's nothing in the account. So I'm like, this seems a bit ridiculous, right? Obviously, it's only one per person and all this shit. Yeah. The bank account costs £5 a month, yeah? Because a lot of current accounts cost money, don't they? So let's think about this now. What did banks usually do? 18 months free banking, then you've got to pay £5 a month. What are Halifax doing? Think about it. Halifax is just giving you 20 months free banking with £100.
Yeah.
It's clever, isn't it? Yeah. It's clever because you're like, holy shit, I'm going to make... I mean, I even looked for it. I was like, oh, £100? You know, so you look for it. That's clever, and that's what this is. It's the same sort of thing.
And presumably there'll be something to prevent you from opening the account, getting the £100, transferring it out, and then closing the account because...
Yeah, I think you can only... Yeah, they probably would keep it, wouldn't they? I don't know what would happen, but yeah, you couldn't just endlessly make accounts and just keep making £100. What do you do for a living? Well, I make Halifax accounts over and over again.
One a day.
No, 5 a day. Come on, bro.
5 a day.
Yeah, so I think it's that same type of like really clever type of thing. But like when you compare, I mean, obviously this has got to be compared to PS Plus because that's the industry leader of this type of thing.
Equivalent service.
It's the best one. Well, it's the best one, isn't it? Like it still isn't. Not really a patch on that, you know. That still gives you loads of games, you know. You get your big back catalogue, which I know they do remove games from the catalogue, but hell, you're giving so much time to play these games. It's not like you're giving a week. You're giving months, you know. Even just looking at it now, you've got Towerfall Ascension on the PS4, Dead Space 3, you've got Lego Batman 2 for the Vita, and then there's a load of other games that are available. These are just the latest ones that have actually been added to it, but there's like a big back catalogue of games, like I've just said.
And also, once the free rotation has gone out, you can still, you'll still have the games from that free rotation as long as you've got your account open, I think. As long as you've still got PS Plus. Because I got Devil May Cry, the remake, on the PlayStation 3, when I first got the PS3. Now, I don't even know how long ago that was. But it's still there. I still play it. And that was like months and months and months ago. So, I mean, that game, I wouldn't have bought. I would not have bought it because I've never been that fussed about Devil May Cry.
But it was actually quite good, though.
Turned out to be really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I guess for EA to do this, it's almost like a bit encouraging because it is like a
Muramasa
false
Rebirth. That's what I played on my Vita. That was quality. If Rue's watching this, he'll know that's quality. Anyway, carry on.
I think I might have tried that at some point on your Vita.
Oh yeah, you might have done actually. Yeah, with the sword. Yeah. It's quite good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that with EA doing this, they are on the face of it the most unlikely company to do it because let's face it, they've got quite the reputation as being money grabbing arseholes, generally speaking. And actually, for them to do this, it is a little bit of a false economy because it's basically just a massive incentive to keep buying their games because you get 10% off and because you get other stuff free. But maybe other companies will start doing this, which I don't necessarily think would be a bad thing because it might actually drive competition between these different access type services, where one will be cheaper but offer like an extra game each month, or another one might be maybe a little bit more expensive.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Discount, all that kind of thing.
I mean, you've got like there were some figures that were released. I don't know how accurate these are, but they were like figures of earnings for games companies, right? And Blizzard had made had made something fucking stupid like 1.2 billion or something in the last year, which you'd expect it, the amount of subs it's got and stuff like that. So I mean, surely they look at things like that and think, well, if there is a sub base for that, if we can get, no disrespect to the console peasants, but if we can get the console peasants to get into this type of system, we know there are a lot of them, then we can help. Maybe we could have the same type of system. But wait, we don't actually need to make an MMO or anything like that, because what we can do is just give away the games we've already made. And because you think this is win-win. This is my game. It's not. It's a GG button. But I've made this game, right? And I'm like, here's my game. Buy my game. Buy for 12 months, and everybody buys, and it gets fucking massive and bigger. But then it goes away because now GG Button 2 is being in development. But it's like, well, what can I do with this GG Button? Well, before they did this, you could maybe put it on the Humble Bundle, right? You could maybe put it on a super discount on Steam. Well, if it's EA Origin, not. I think they did a Humble Bundle actually, but you put it at a discount on Origin or whatever. Maybe you give it away free, like they've give other games away free. Or maybe you say, well, wait a minute. This game now, its sales were massive, but now they're nothing because it's no longer relevant. We say, what about if we just get a couple of these games and turn them into this like pseudo MMO type of deal or payment structure and give them away? And provided we keep adding games to this, people will stay because we're EA. We're always going to have loads of games in development. I mean, like I'm looking at their website now, and it's got like Madden, like you said, the basketball thing. Need for Speed Rivals is there as well. UFC's there. Garden Warfare there. All these like trials and stuff you can get access to now. There's a lot of gaming to be had there, as well as the games they give you. It's really clever. It's a really good use of your old catalogue, which now has just become shit because you're on this annual release cycle with all these things.
And I think something else that is kind of, when you look at these older games, no one's buying them. Like, people might still occasionally drop some money on Battlefield 4.
Hey, they gave Battlefield 3 away, didn't they? They gave that away for free, didn't they? Do you remember Battlefield 3?
Yeah. And that makes perfect sense because every game has a shelf life. It does. I mean, there is some. I admit there are some. I think that are like exceptions. I think maybe World of Warcraft is a bit of an exception. It doesn't really have a shelf life as such.
Yeah.
But you start like the Battlefield series, the Call of Duty series. Hands up if you've gone and bought Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 in the last week. No one's going to have fucking bought it because it's years old. Everyone's buying the new Call of Duty. With all these games, if they're not doing anything, you're not losing anything by giving it away. And if you're charging someone 18 quid a year and giving it away, then you're not giving it away because you're making 18 quid a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is more, probably. If you get I don't know, what do you reckon would be the numbers for this? I don't know how many numbers the Xbox One sold at this point. But say just a random figure. Say 100,000 people get this EA access and pay 18 quid or 30 quid for the year, $30 for the year even. If they then download FIFA 14 and Peggle 2, that is way more than if EA just sat there and waited for people to buy those games of their own accord. It just is. Because no one is buying them anymore. And if you're going to have games that just sit on the shelf and do nothing, even if it's a virtual shelf and it's just sitting on a server doing nothing, you may as well use it to promote yourself as much as you possibly can.
Do you think
that's just what they're doing?
Do you think this might result in EA starting to stem the tide of games it offers on PS Plus? And because I mean, Dead Space 3 is currently on there now.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Although, then again, they might not do, because if you're playing an EA game on PS Plus, like say you download Dead Space 3 and you really enjoy it, the chances of you then buying Dead Space 4 or 5 or whichever, that's higher than if you didn't play it at all. I don't think they'd cut that off, because although I'm sure they must get something for it.
Yeah.
I seriously doubt that they're just doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. Either there's enough people trying these games and then going on to buy other games from EA that it's worth it, or they're getting an amount from, the total pot of PS Plus somehow. Or there'll be some sort of advertising deal between the two, between PlayStation and EA. But I'd be surprised if they get rid of that, because it's still effectively free advertising off games that they're not really going to be selling anymore.
I mean,
Dead Space 3 has had its time in the headlines and it's gone now.
yeah, very much so.
Getting it on your PlayStation, it's like if you download it out of curiosity and play it and like it, you're way more likely to buy Dead Space 4 than if,
or maybe buy the older games.
If EA.
Do you think though, like with this now? I mean, if we look at like what EA are doing with games, so they've got the box sales of the game when it comes out, right? Then they're going to shunt the game if it's an annual release, some 8 or 9 months later, to this service, which they're then making, $4.99 a month, or whatever if you pay for the yearly pass. Then they've got the DLC component, and like you just said, if you do have these games like Battlefield 4, if I give you Battlefield 4 for free, you're like, holy shit, you get into Battlefield 4, but you want to play the latest, premium of Battlefield, whatever the hell is open out. That's all at a discount now, because Battlefield 4 is sort of coming to the end of its life, I think. So that stuff is cheaper to get into. It might only be a tenner or whatever, and you get access. But you've just spent a tenner that you would not have spent because you were never going to buy Battlefield 4 anyway. But we've just given it you. So you're like, suddenly now this installed user base of people who can buy DLC, instead of it being down here, it's like getting higher and higher, and it's like.
Also, not only that, but say you download Battlefield 4 off EA Access for free. You really enjoy it. You want the new maps. You want the new game modes that have come with the DLC. Well, if you go to the store, hey. You've got a subscription. You get 10% off all that DLC.
Exactly.
And you can buy it in one neat bundle.
Exactly.
Thus increasing the discount even more. And then suddenly, this game that, is not really... It's nowhere near new. It's nowhere near, like, at the high point of its life. It's getting an influx of people going, oh no, this is quite good. I'll buy the DLC. It's only a tenner.
God forbid,
Except
Mr.
it's not
Kirioth.
a tenner. It's like £9. Oh, even better.
This is the only time, apart from when EA have gave games away for free, but it's the only time I can think when EA have done something which is win for the customer or the consumer and win for EA. Because usually EA will be like some horrid DLC system. Like, everybody hated Battlefield Premium when that was like, what the fuck is this? All of that shit, all of the other DLC they do, the Sims shit, they're just terrible. They're like hammering people with shit DLC. SimCity DLC with fucking Blimp or whatever it was, just taking people to the cleaners. That's win for EA. It's not win for the gamer, because the game is just getting shit, and if they're buying it, they're losing money. This, though, is like, I'm all for giving people loads of games, and they're giving people loads of games for a very minimal fee. And could this be a turning point for EA? But I do think that there are very strong undercurrents, Mr. Kirioth, of this is a very shrewd business decision in every sense of the way.
I honestly, I don't think this has been done in a way that I don't think they've sat down and gone, what's best for the customer? No, they've sat down and gone, okay, if we put it at this price point, if we offer this discount, and if we allow these perks, what are the chances that this customer base will take up this offer? It'll have been done purely from a business perspective, because the customer is like, they don't fucking care about you, frankly. It's just as long as you buy the games, who cares? And that's how they operate. But on the upside, them taking this basically purely shrewd business decision does mean that effectively gamers are getting a better deal from EA.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, given their previous given their current attitude, let's face it, to
their
games
eternal
and
attitude,
DLC, their eternal attitude. I don't think it's something you could kind of stick your nose up at, because it's like they do questionable things, but this is actually one of the least questionable, and in fact probably most pleasant things they've done for God knows how long. Because no matter how you look at it, if you're getting a 10% discount off most new titles, if you're getting a 10% discount off DLC, if you're getting free games, it doesn't say how they're going to do it, like whether it's going to be a new game every month or whether there's just going to be like, you signed up and suddenly it's just like, here are 40 games. Because, either way, you're going to end up with free stuff. And yeah, you might play Battlefield 4, you might play Fable 2, and you might go and have a look at the DLC, but you're still getting the DLC for less than if you bought it anyway.
I think I'd be surprised if it was like if it was just tons of games. Like if you subscribe to this in 2 years' time and it was like, here's 50 games. I think most likely what they'll do is they'll probably always keep it to like maybe 4 or 5 games, and that'll be it. And they'll probably just keep changing them out, because you have to think of other things like the server infrastructure required to deliver that kind of. These are not small games. Jesus Christ, Battlefield is going to be like 50 gig download. That is not, that is considerable bandwidth, especially if loads of people are downloading the game. Holy hell, you're going to be having like quite severe costs. So I don't know if it will be that extensive. Hell, maybe might be. Maybe they've got some deal with Microsoft and they're like hosting it or something. Who knows? But I do think, like, I'd be a liar if I said this didn't pique my interest more in an Xbox One.
Yeah.
Because before I just was like, I mean, like when I look at the games now that are available on the Xbox Gold shit, where you get the free games. No disrespect to the games, but well, I think you can maybe play Battle Block Theatre on the Vita, but I know that's just basically a 2D indie game. Guacamole's on the PS Vita, and the other game, I don't know what that was, but based off the screenshots, didn't look like they're not AAA games.
Powerful Ascension, it's
they're
like
not
a 4-player.
No, it was
again a 4.
Was it just Powerful Ascension? I don't think it was. That's on PS Plus. Yeah, no, that was on PS Plus. Hang on. Let me find the bloody list.
Getting confused now. There's too many free things.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that they're sort of like indie games that are not very great. It was Max: The Curse of the Brotherhood. You know, so they're basically indie games that they're giving away. Like essentially, they're not like We laugh at the next gen systems, especially the Xbox, and say, it's underpowered. But I mean, if my Vita plays these games, then hell, the Xbox One just obliterates these games, and it's like it doesn't feel meaty. You know, it's not a AAA release. It isn't like Battlefield 4, like fucking hell. You know, like
it isn't like getting like Devil May Cry or Dead Space 3, or Uncharted 3, or any of that.
Yeah,
it's not quite the same. You know, it's not as extensive. I mean, in a way, I kind of hope that Microsoft do increase the scope of Xbox Gold. Xbox Live Gold, whatever they call it. But
do you think they have to? I think they do. I think they do because
I think they have to, but I also think that it would make sense for EA to extend EA access across multiple platforms as well. Like, why isn't this tied into Origin, for instance?
Yeah,
that would be ideal. Frankly, I would do that. I'd pay 18 quid through my Origin account to have access to free games and have discounts on other games and be able to get stuff 5 days in advance. I'd do that all day. Hopefully, this is going to be like a time-limited thing. I never thought I'd say anything like this about fucking EA.
Yeah, I know.
EA.
That's
and
the weird thing.
All right, hopefully they extend it to Origin. Origin is shit, but I still kind of hope they have.
Well, actually,
Origin
hang on. Origin is shit, but Origin has much better customer support than Valve, and also it always gives me full download speed all the time. I mean, it is annoying because it's EA and we don't like EA. Nobody likes EA. But yeah, no, I'm trying to think of like a counter argument for this, like what you've just said. I mean, like I guess, it's EA, so I would expect to see it on Origin. I don't think we'll see it on the PlayStation.
I'd imagine probably I'd imagine that the setup they've got on PlayStation with PS Plus is probably enough for them, because it's kind of the same thing, and it's still basically free advertising for them. They're not losing anything by doing it. If you could maybe, I mean, this is a very big long shot in the dark, but say if you could increase your PS Plus payments by like an extra quid each month and have access to more EA games, would you do it?
Maybe. See, this is now.
You know, it's difficult to tell where it's going to go from here, but
yeah, it's difficult as
well.
It's
interesting to see if it develops.
Just from the I'm the gamer type. I mean, if I was advising people I know who own Xbox Ones, I would say that's fine. I would say to go ahead and do that. But for me personally, it's not worth it because I wouldn't. So it's kind of hard to answer that question. But what I was trying to think of is I think what they're probably going to do is I think this will be on the Xbox for a long time before it goes anywhere else, because there's probably an exclusivity deal with Microsoft maybe, and if there isn't, they may want to keep this as again, this feels really stupid saying this, but it almost makes it a more valuable offering when it's only on one platform. So people, can you imagine Bob saying to Dave, "Hey Dave, I've got an Xbox One and I get all these free games." And Dave's like, "Wow man, I'm thinking about getting a PlayStation or an Xbox One, but I don't entirely, I like sports games or whatever, so and I like shooters. Well, this would be better to you than the PS Plus, because that gives you a load of different games from every genre. But if you're just a gamer and you like every game, PS Plus annihilates it. So I think we'll leave it at that, Mr. Kirioth. There's a lot of discussion to be had with this.
It is really interesting. It's very interesting that EA have been the ones to do it. It's interesting that actually they seem to have probably inadvertently created actually quite a good deal for Xbox One owners. And actually, I think you're right. I think if you are the I'm not going to say like the typical casual gamer because that's not fair, but there's definitely like a niche in the gaming world which is occupied by the people who play the sports games.
Oh yeah.
For instance, just taking those by themselves, you know, they'll play Madden, they'll play NHL, they'll play NBA and FIFA. Now, this makes it absolutely worth it for them to buy an Xbox One, because if they buy an Xbox One and then spend $30 or 18 quid for a year, they've got all the sports games they could ask for, and any other future ones from EA, they get a discount on anyway.
Yeah.
So, I think,
and EA's biggest fan base has to be sports and the shooters. It's got to be, because they're the biggest selling titles. Yeah,
must be. It's clever. It's clever, and it's EA, and I don't like those two things being put together. It's
insidious EA, but it's kind of like it still is win-win. It's like they're a drug dealer. You're going to get off your face on the baby blue crack from Dr. Heisenberg.
It's just all heroin nuts.
Hang on, it wasn't crack, was it? It was meth. Crack. What the hell?
Crack.
Heisenberg would be stirring in his grave. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave it at that. So comment below, because we want to see what you think about this, because obviously it is very interesting. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and you can follow Kirioth. He is something.
I'm at Kirioth.
Yeah, it's not hard to remember, is it? And no picture of the shit-stained dog, unfortunately.
No. It's no. I don't want to deal with it.
Oh dear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been HOTFIX. It's been absolutely le pois, and we'll catch you next time, people.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.